you guys say it's opened your eyes? In what way?
We recently just had a 5-month booking and it was
13.4k.
What? Why didn't you guys tell me about this?
and she sent the money up front.
Before we entered this journey, we didn't know you could print this much money from properties that you're renting.
I'm gonna start with the third one. He was asking 1.8 for that house. I went to the viewing, I looked at the house, I said, we're not giving him 1.8. If you see the way the house looked like before, it needed so much work.
We negotiated a 2-week grace period. Unfortunately, within those 2 weeks, we hadn't finished. It actually took us probably an additional 2 weeks. We did this trick where we put it live with dummy pictures before it was actually finished. Before even finishing, we secured a 1.5 month booking, which was probably over 3k, which had already covered the whole month of rent plus £800 plus profit.
Hey guys, we are here with Caleb and Giovanna. If you guys have been watching our YouTube channel for quite a while, you would know that we actually did a student property tour with Caleb and Giovanna. We met them in Manchester last year, and now we are here on a call together again because I want to know a bit more about what's it been like since starting your Airbnb business. I'm going to hear about the challenges, the wins, the losses, and what are the future goals and what you guys are working towards. Other than that, let's get straight into it. Caleb and Giovanna, thank you so much for coming on today's call. If you guys want to start off by introducing yourself, giving us a little bit of a background before you guys got started in the short-term rental business.
So my name is Caleb, just graduated last year in software engineering. Background wise, I'm Italian, Ghanaian, and I've been in the UK for more than 12 years. Recently, about last year, me and Giovanna started our service accommodation Airbnb business, and we started with no units, and today, nearly 1 year later, we got 4 units.
Okay, thank you, Caleb. And yourself, Giovanna?
So my name is Giovanna. I'm also Italian background, Ghanaian. I was born in Italy. At the moment, what I do is just I work a full-time job as a complaints advisor for AQA.
Why did you guys get started in this short-term rental business together?
Me and Caleb have been very good friends for a very long time. As we were getting to know each other more, he was showing me a side of him of like motivational, because I was not really on that wave back then. I was just focusing on uni, and sort of from that I came across one of you guys' videos on TikTok about Airbnb, and because I interacted with that, I sort of kept getting videos like that, and I was like, this is not a bad thing, you know. So then I sort of forwarded it to him. He thought it was not for him. He was like, this is all you, just focus on it, do your research. And then I tried again another time. This was like sort of 3 months later, and he was like, okay, let's just give it a shot. And then here we are.
Here we are.
So, what about it caught your interest?
I think what caught my eye the most about Airbnbs is that I really had interest in the property sector already. But of course, I didn't know how to get into it. Back then, I was 18. I didn't really know how to get into it. And Airbnb seemed like a gateway to get into properties. So that's when I started looking into it a bit more.
Would you say that's the same with yourself, Caleb?
Yeah, obviously, I hadn't heard of service accommodation too much. I've seen a few things about it here and there, about renting a property and renting it out again. But then she actually gained interest in it, and then she sort of approached me so that we could do this together. At first, like she said, I told her that I would support her, I would be there for her, whatever she needed, I would help her with it. But back then, I was focusing on my graft in day trading. I was like, you know what, that's my thing. I actually went back home, did my research, looked into it, and then it was something I seen myself do, especially with her, and I seen how you could get financial freedom from it. And I was like, you know what, that's actually not too bad. So then I came back to her, I said, you know what, this service accommodation Airbnb thing, let's tackle it together. And that's how we actually started it together.
Okay, so you made a decision to start this business together. So you both joined the program. How long did it take you to get your first unit?
We're able to secure our first 2 properties a month after. It was actually slightly faster than we would have thought, but I do believe it's because we took the leap of faith in actually trusting yourself, Leena, and Uzma in coaching us. And I believe that's how we're able to get those 2 properties that quickly.
Okay, tell me the actual process then. How did you go out and get this deal?
So I would say the approach that we took was just calling. I think we had a minimum of 20 agents and landlords a day. So he would get through 20 agents or landlords, and I would do the same on my end. And then we were filtering out He said no straight away. He said subject to landlord. He said yes. Whereas with the landlords, it was a bit harder, I would say, because obviously what you would say to the agents is not really what you would say to the landlord, because the agents will just go back and refer to the landlord. So majority of them will just be like, send us an email and we'll pass it on to the landlord. But we didn't really like that because they don't get to hear it from us, or like how we can make their investment better. Doing these calls every day, no, no, no. At some point, I was so ready to let go. I was so tired. I just hate rejection so much. It makes me feel so bad. And then he was like, just keep going.
Caleb was there to push you.
Yeah, he definitely was there to push me because I was so ready to let go. And then I think I
Yeah.
got the first yes. And then from there,
Mhm.
he then spoke to the landlord. I attended the viewing and I spoke to the landlord. Luckily, he was a very cool guy. After the viewing, I told him, my partner's going to call you.
Giovanna approached him initially. She sort of told him that we were interested in his property, and I believe if we could have his number. From there, I believe she must have had a call with him and told him that, look, this property that you got, we're interested in it. And obviously, we're looking to use it to sort of house our clients, because we've got clients that come in the area for a short period of time. And sometimes we also have families relocating in the area. Sometimes we have people that are being sent for work in the area and they need somewhere to stay on a short period of time. So we'll be working with housing them. And then obviously we told them, look, any questions that you got, you keep them. We're ready to come and view the property on this day. Obviously from there, Giovanna went to meet him, and Giovanna sort of pitched more to him in regards to our business model and what we're looking to use the property for. And he was actually quite happy with it, because the way we pitch the business model is a win-win situation. So for him, is more of a hand-off investment if he rents his property to us, because we'll manage all the maintenance, we'll get it professionally cleaned, and we will pay him a guaranteed rent every month. So obviously he liked that. He said, you know what, I don't mind giving it to you. And then from there on, Giovanna told her, look, I'll go back home, I'll discuss with my business partner, and then he's going to call you. Giovanna came home. We worked our numbers with the deal analysis spreadsheet that you provided us in the mentorship. We figured out at what price the property was going to work for us and at what price it wasn't going to work for us. So then it was just about getting the price down to what it was going to work for us. And to be able to do that, we had to find out the weak points of the landlord to see what he was struggling with exactly, and also maybe to see anything that was lacking in the property when we viewed it, so that we could use that as pinpoints to be able to justify why we want him to decrease the price. So the way we're able to sort of continuously negotiate the price with him was by building relationship throughout those conversations.
How did you do that?
So we built relationships by approaching it in a friendly way. So we're not coming here just to take your property. We're coming here to build a relationship. And in the future as well, if you got more properties, if you like what we do, we can take on more of those properties and make all your portfolio a hassle-free investment for you. So on every call, I'll start off the call by, how you doing? How's the family doing? How are the kids doing? I basically gained an interest in this landlord to be able to build that strong relationship. So on the third call, we had now built a relationship. So we threw him our last offer, what we're actually content with, which was 1,350, and he actually agreed with it.
Okay, that's really good that you shared that, Caleb. How long would you say this process of going back and forth was?
I think the negotiation could have took like 5 days to 7 days.
I think it's good to mention that in between those negotiations and obviously him accepting, but he hadn't signed the contract yet, we was not 100% sure that he was going to give us this property. So it sort of motivated us to go find another one. And that's how we managed to close 2 deals within that same time frame.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm glad you guys say that, because what a lot of people do is they call all the landlords and estate agents, they make the calls, they finally get their first yes, but once they finally get that yes, they drop everything down, they pause everything they're doing until they can move forward with that one yes that they maybe got from the landlord. When actually, there should never be a time where you stop outreach. Never. Whether you're at one property, whether you're at 10 properties or at 100. But I would say once you do get to the point when you're at 100 properties, that's when you start to outsource the outreach to a VA, and they would do the calls for you. That's when it would make more sense. I'm glad to hear that that's exactly what you guys did, and that's exactly why you managed to get those 2 deals in that month. So tell me about that second deal that you got then. While you were going back and forth with this first landlord, you got another deal on the line. How did you get that?
So Caleb was using several accounts on Open Rent so he could reach out to more landlords at the same time. Because when we did that with one account initially, we got banned from Open Rent. We were not hearing anything back from no one, and we just thought, let's just create another account. So then with my account, this landlord ended up replying saying, yeah, sure, give me a call at this time. And it was with my account. So obviously he wouldn't be able to make the call because it's a female's account. So why is a guy calling me? And I was at work at that time. So I stepped out of work for a second and I made this call with the landlord. He was a little bit easier to convince because his weakness was he didn't live in Manchester. He lives in the south. So what bought him was the fact that he wouldn't have to deal with the maintenance. He wouldn't have to deal with the tenants or void periods. So that sort of bought him.
Okay. You got two of these properties. Break down the numbers then. So the rent for both of these properties are around £1,300 in rent. The bills would be maybe around £300 to £400 because they're two-bedroom properties. How much are you currently charging per night on them? And how many days are they currently getting occupied?
You know what? I can tell you the numbers off the top of my head, but even better, I got my spreadsheet over here where I've got all the numbers. So our first property, the rent is 1,350 after all bills, and here I'm also including a £50 maintenance for the month. Not every month you have a maintenance issue, but I just like to add it as a buffer. So the time you have £100 maintenance issue, the last 3 months that you didn't have any, it will cover for it. If you add everything together, you're looking at 1.8 on the first property. And then that property, we charge £130 on a weekday and around 150, 160 on weekends. And at 70% occupancy, we make around £800 profit. Now, that property is actually our best performing property since we got it. Location is TT. We got public transport. There's a tram stop just outside. It's a couple minutes walk from Media City. And actually, next month, we would have had that for 1 year. And since then, it hasn't let us down even one time.
What's the occupancy on that on average?
Pushes 80, 90. It's never free.
Yeah.
We actually decided to bump our prices. We did this through Price Labs, which is like a dynamic pricing software. It looks at your competitors, it looks at the area to see what other people are charging and sort of changes your rates to go according to that. And it also looks at the demand to sort of increase the rates. And when there's no demand, it decreases the rates for you. So we realized that even during high demand periods, we're charging too low. So we use that software to be able to bump up our prices for those high season rates. And one other thing that we also did to try and increase our profits was we started upselling a lot. So early check-in, late checkout, trying to sell to them extensions. That's also another way that we're able to bump up our profits.
So you guys are cashing from your guests, which is great to hear, by providing them extra services. Let me ask about your other two properties then. What's the situation with those two?
So with the third and the fourth, these are actually houses. So obviously when we started with apartments. And this time we said we're going to go for something bigger. So we went on with 3-bedroom houses. These are closer to the airport. We've had a lot of relocating families. Also a lot of people that are working at the airport sort of thing. I'm going to start with the third one. He was asking 1.8 for that house. I went to the viewing. I looked at the house. I said, we're not giving him 1.8. It needed so much work. If you see the way the house looked like before and what we've made it look like now.
I saw the pictures. So how much rent did you manage to negotiate it down to?
So we brought it down to 1.6 because we did a bit of research and we could tell that he's had that on the market for time.
And we negotiated a 2-week grace period. We had planned to actually finish everything within those 2 weeks. Unfortunately, within those 2 weeks, we hadn't finished. It actually took us probably an additional 2 weeks. There was more work on that one than any of our previous units that we took on that we staged. We did this trick where we put it live with dummy pictures before it was actually finished. So I think as soon as we got it on our first week, we put it live with dummy pictures and we open the dates probably from 2 or 3 weeks, and then as it was taking longer we changed it to open the dates after 4 weeks of us getting the unit. And before even finishing, we secured a 1.5 month booking, which was probably over 3k or something like that, which had already covered the whole month of rent plus £800 plus profit. So that really actually motivated us to quickly get everything wrapped up and
before they
exactly
That was our first confirmed booking. We did have a few other bookings before that. That was like 5 days or like 2 days. But we were just like, okay, it might not be ready by then. But we will still hold on to the request and see if we can get it sorted by then. And then obviously we had to decline. And then that one booking came through. We're like, okay, a month, we're not gonna let this one go because
Yeah.
that's
Okay.
the whole month.
So before the property was even ready, you guys managed to get a £3,000 booking?
Yeah.
Okay, so what was the strategy there then? Did Nahar mention that to you, or was it myself when I met you guys in person?
I can't remember, but we definitely got it from you guys. Yeah, I can't remember. But because obviously on our first property, we didn't know about that strategy. But I think after you guys visited us at the first one, you must have told us, innit? And we even used this approach on the second unit because by then we knew about it.
So you guys managed to get the property
Yeah.
ready, right? Before the guests checked in?
Yeah, 100.
Okay, perfect. From the landlords that you've dealt with, would you guys say it was hard to convince the landlords? Because there is a misconception out there. In 2024, no landlords will let you rent their property for short-term rental. Would you guys say that this is true or not, based on your guys' experience?
No, I would say it's not true. Because even when the first time you call them and maybe you say for Airbnb and they say no straight away, if you actually get to meet them and explain the benefits that's in it for them, because they don't want to deal with their tenants. They don't want to be called up in the middle of the night saying this doesn't work, that doesn't work. And then we found that a common thing between our landlords is the void periods. And then it's like, it's just sad having to kick someone out your house. And then majority of the times they just don't want to go through that. When you get to meet them and understand their problem, this all comes down to the relationship again. Because there was a lot of times that with these landlords as well, they said, oh, I've had something similar from someone else, but I want to go with you guys because we keep constantly like checking up on them or like calling them just to purposely build this relationship to make them understand that we're not just in it for the money. We don't just want to come, take your house. Oh yeah, I'm going to go make money with your house. No, we want to work with you long term.
So you mentioned that building these relationships with landlords is probably the most important thing when it comes to starting an Airbnb business. So from doing that then, from all your properties, how much would you guys say you are making per month right now in revenue?
So we're turning over just about 10K in revenue on a monthly. That's with 4 properties.
Okay, and how much of that would you guys say is your profit?
Obviously, depending on the occupancy, but on an average occupancy, let's say 70, we're probably looking at 2.6, 2.8 profit.
Okay, are you guys taking that home or are you leaving it in the bank? What are you guys doing with that right now? Because I know, Caleb, you are currently working part-time right now, and Giovanna, I think you mentioned that you're still working full-time. What are your plans then to start doing this full-time?
We're not actually taking it home. We're just stacking it in the bank.
Yeah.
No, I'm joking. So we're just reinvesting, to be fair. So probably similar thing that yourself and Uzma did. The profits that you gained, you just reinvested it to obviously look at where you guys are today. So similar thing, the money comes in, we're just reinvesting it towards unit 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Giovanna works full time. I work part time. But at the moment, that job takes care of the normal bills that you go through, such as utility, rent, car bills, all of that. So we want to get to a stage, and obviously the rewards that we're reaping, they're abundant, and then we would probably leave our jobs to actually try put all of our hands in this business. But for now, we're just reinvesting until it gets to that stage. Having all the automations correct, having a team, especially cleaners, having everyone on board, especially the maintenance lads, making sure that we've got a strong relationship. We've got sort of not contracts, but we sort of have agreements where we all know what KA properties and them have to sort of work together. And we're able to then focus on scaling because we're not having a business that's not structured.
Yeah. Just going on to your journey so far then, what have been the most rewarding aspects of this journey for you guys?
So we got a few, to be fair. Since taking on this journey, we've gotten a lot of positives from it. So first and foremost, I think being able to work together and sort of develop as business partners has been amazing. That's been wonderful. Besides that as well, taking on this business has helped us develop many new skills that if we had stayed in some normal corporate jobs, we would have never been able to develop. It has also helped us to build relationships in the industry as well, which once again, if we're at a normal corporate job, we would have never developed. And it's also opened our eyes to see what's actually possible out there. So once again, there's only positives I can't lie.
How would you guys say it's opened your eyes? In what way?
Before we entered this journey, first and foremost, we didn't know you could print this much money from having a property portfolio of properties that you're renting. And
Sorry, let me
also,
just cut him off there. It's so funny because we recently just had a 5 month booking and it was a direct booking as well. So, and
What?
she sent the
Why
money,
didn't you guys tell me
yeah,
about this?
and she sent the money up front. So we've got it there and it's like so much money just in.
Tell me about this five booking, because Taylor was here saying, you didn't realize that how much this business can print money. I'm
Different
thinking,
money.
okay, what money are you talking here? So tell me more about that 5 month booking then.
So it was on Airbnb. She just messaged us. This is for our first property. And she was like, with my husband, I'm looking to come down and we're going to be 5 months. So when we first got the inquiry, we was like, what is this? Because it was like of money. She asked for like a discount. So we were like, the only way we can do this is obviously through direct booking. So we sent her to our WhatsApp business. We did this by putting a QR code on one of our pictures of the listing, and then she just scanned it and then she came direct. Then we were talking, asking her what she's coming in the area for, conversating, and she was like, okay, yes, we're ready to pay. We agreed on the price, and she was like, we're ready to pay, send us the invoice. Next thing you know, couldn't cash it out. We was like, oh.
How much was it?
13.4K.
You guys managed to get in £14,000 booking in, and I'm assuming that you guys are going to now use this money for
But
the
the next
next.
one,
Well,
exactly.
Exactly.
this can potentially fund another 3 properties now.
Literally.
Honestly,
It's crazy.
honestly.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
I understand you guys now when Caleb was saying you guys are printing money, because Caleb says it
So that's why I had to say
Caleb says
that.
it very casually. £3,000 comes in here, £4,000 comes in there. I don't know where it's coming from.
That's why I had to come in because that's exactly why he was saying that.
So, in that case, guys, what advice would you give to someone that is considering entering the short-term rental market?
So first and foremost, one thing that I've seen a lot of people doing is they see what others in the industry are doing, they see the results, and obviously they're interested in it, they're interested in the business model. However, they don't do enough of taking action. So if you're seeing it, take the leap of faith and actually start instead of obviously just looking at other people doing it. Also, for the people that have already started, it's just about putting in that consistent work and sort of delaying that gratification, and then that one day the yes will come.
I also want to ask you guys, is there any advice that you want to give to the couples out there who may be having separate lives right now when it comes to their careers, but they're both business orientated? What advice would you give to them?
So I would tell them getting into a business together with your partner, it will bring its own set of challenges. But at the end of the day, it's also rewarding because let's say when you're a couple and you tackle this business together, you already know each other. So once again, you know her strengths, she knows your weakness and vice versa. So then obviously you can help her on her weaknesses. She can help you on yours. And obviously you can tackle different parts of the business together. So for example, myself and Giovanna, she's very good with staging. She's very good with building relationships with clients, so she tackles that side of things. And obviously she knows as well that I'm very good at numbers and systems, so then I tackle that side of things. And at the end of the day, I would say don't let the business come in between your relationship. Obviously the same way you tackle problems in your relationship, if you have problems in the business or in the partnership, tackle it the same way and make sure that you come back to peace at all times.
Okay, how do you guys handle the relationship that you guys have on a personal level, but then you also have a business relationship? How do you guys separate the two? Or do you even separate the two?
I would say not really. A lot of people would say don't make business with pleasure, but we've sort of blended it in a way where it's like if we do have arguments, for example, we can't even be separated from each other because we've got this business together. We still have to work together. So that sort of also helps bring in our bond back together, because it's like we're not gonna go days without talking to each other because we can't. Because there's work to be done with the business. That sort of gives you that extra push to sort of say, okay, yeah, I need to talk to him.
We sort of solve the problems whilst we're at it. We don't stretch out the problems
Yeah.
because we know that we both don't want this business to flop. So then we're fast to tackle problems when we get them. Everyone has problems, you know, friends, family, relationships, everyone has problems. But obviously, we're just fast to tackle it as soon as it comes so that it doesn't affect the business that we have together as well.
I love what you guys mentioned there as well, because I know sometimes when you're in a relationship, people can be petty. You know, one person and compared to the other. But it looks like you guys are mature to know that you have a business now that you've gotten in together, and you guys don't separate, but you're able to mix it together in the best way. So I really like that quote that you said as well, Giovanna, about mixing business with pleasure. People say don't do it, but you think otherwise. So I think a lot of people will be able to see this and get inspired by
Yeah.
maybe they can start something with their partner. It is very rewarding because you're not just building
Yeah.
a life together, you're also building a career together, which not many people get to do. Many people don't even get to see their partners because they're both.
Yeah, definitely.
Last question then, guys. Is there any reason why you guys wanted to go ahead with our program?
I think I initially came across yourself on TikTok. We saw a couple mentors in the game. We sort of lined them up because obviously they say before you get a mentor, be sure this is a person that you like what they're doing, you believe they actually do what they talk. So we had a few mentors. We lined all of them up and then we done a bit of research with all of them. We even did some onboarding calls with all of them. And so not only prior to the onboarding call had we seen that obviously you guys are similar ages as us. When it comes to sort of culture, we can sort of relate, and I feel like through that we're able to resonate with yourselves, and we also saw that you're actually doing what you're talking. That's the reason why we decided to invest in you guys or join your program instead of the others that we had lined up.
Okay, guys, thank you so much for sharing the tips and advice for the viewers watching. I hope everyone watching gained a lot from both Caleb and Giovanna, and I appreciate both of you guys for coming on today's call and talking about your guys' journey